Arman's devastated. But you know what? It's his own unprofessionalism that's brought him here. He had Dana White privilege. He had the nepotism. He's got the money. He's had everything handed to him his whole life, and now it's not going his way, and he's having a little tantrum about it. It's nice to see. It's nice to see the nepo baby get knocked down a peg. It's good to see. It's nice to see. Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got some comical stuff to go over. A little bit of a giggle. We're going to have a little bit of a giggle. So the UFC Brazil, I believe it was, accidentally leaked some fights on the upcoming UFC 324 card. They revealed some very interesting information. So most importantly, I think we'll start with most importantly, Ilia Topuria was supposed to be fighting Paddy the Baddy at UFC 324 for the belts. That was what the UFC wanted to do. Ilia has unfortunately had to step away due to personal issues, we'll say to personal issues, something to do with a divorce. I don't really fucking care. But yeah, Ilia Topuria has stepped away, vacating the belt, I do assume, and so now the UFC has decided to do Paddy the Baddy versus Justin Gaethje for the interim lightweight belt, completely ignoring the fact that Arman Sarukian is the #1 contender. Very interesting, very comical. I mean, I'm glad for it. I don't like Arman. Nepo baby. Everything handed to him. Posh boy. Doesn't need to fight. Posh boy. Gets to miss weight. Makes excuses about his back being injured. Misses weight in a title fight. Misses weight against Dan Hooker. And there's some fuckery with the scale. Because he can't make weight. We all saw it. We all saw it. You know the UFC saw it. So Arman's been passed over again. Unlucky Arman. What a shame. But now we've got to talk about Justin Gaethje real quick. We've got to talk about Justin Gaethje. Because 4 months ago, I made a video slandering Justin Gaethje. I said he was an idiot. Because Justin Gaethje was threatening to retire if he didn't get a title fight in his next fight. Bearing in mind that Justin Gaethje had beaten Rafael Fiziev in a close fight, lost to Max Holloway, and then fought Rafael Fiziev again, won again, but arguably in a less impressive fashion. Right? And then he decided to sit back and demand the title shot off the back of that because the Max Holloway fight, the Max Holloway loss didn't count. Doesn't count in his opinion. I said that was fucking stupid. I said, retire then. Retire then. How foolish I was. I'm sorry, Justin Gaethje, I'm sorry. I didn't know the UFC was going to bend the knee so easily. I didn't realise Justin Gaethje was such a fucking star that him threatening to retire would bring the UFC to its fucking knees in 4 months' time. I didn't know. I'm sorry, I didn't know. So yeah, so now we've got Justin Gaethje versus Paddy the Baddy for the interim lightweight belt. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that so soon in his UFC career, Paddy the Baddy would become interim lightweight champion? Because we know Justin Gaethje is going to get absolutely fucking walked. We know Justin Gaethje is not going to stand a chance against Pad. That's just the way it is. I'm sorry to break it to everybody. That's just the way it is. Justin Gaethje 5 years ago, probably a really tough challenge for Paddy the Baddy. Justin Gaethje now with all this accumulative damage, I could see it going the same way as a Tony Ferguson versus Paddy the Baddy. But who knows? We'll have my predictions closer to the time. Other things have happened. So as well as that announcement, that leak from UFC Brazil, there's also talk of Alexander Volkanovski, the GOAT, fighting Diego Lopez for a second time, back to back in it. Everyone's a bit confused about this one. Everyone assumed it was going to be, most likely be Lerone Murphy. Volk even called out Lerone Murphy. You know? Just interesting. It's just interesting to see. Maybe the UFC really, really, really want Diego Lopez to be champion next. Maybe that's where it is. I don't know. Maybe they seen something in the first fight that everyone else missed. I think Volk does it again, to be honest with you. But it's interesting. It's interesting because there are arguably, he had his shot. Like, he's not undeserving, but he had his shot at the title and he didn't beat Volk, you know? And so now, you know, let's not saying that we should just forget about Lopez entirely. give him another fight, let him bounce back and let him try again. But surely it's someone else's turn for the belts. That's what everyone had assumed. But no, the UFC has other plans. The UFC are really just fucking about right now, it seems. We'll get into that though. We'll get into that. The UFC is just fucking about right now. No one really knows what's going on. So much so that Volkanovski's team, I was watching, I think it was Submission Radio. I can't even remember. Maybe I'll put it up. I probably won't. I'm lazy like that. Hence why this video is so late. um, but yeah, Volk's team on an interview, Volk's coach on an interview. They assumed it was going to be Lerone Murphy. They're getting ready for Lerone Murphy. They see the leak. They hear the announcement. They're like, oh, okay, we're doing Diego Lopez again. Bit strange, but okay, the UFC picks the fights. It just seems odd. It just seems very, very odd. A bit of strange matchmaking. Maybe it's all fake. Maybe we're all being taken for a ride. Who knows? Who could say? But yeah, very interesting. Very, very peculiar matchmaking out of the UFC. I say it's peculiar. No, it's not. It's fucking lazy. And I know lazy because I'm lazy. Okay? And I know that Dana White is being fucking lazy. Hunter Campbell is being fucking lazy. Okay? We're just throwing together whatever shite. We don't want to deal with Arman. He'll miss weight. Have to deal with the kerfuffle again. But yeah, very strange, very strange. To not for Volkanovski to think he's going to go against Lerone Murphy and be thinking that's like there's obviously been talks because management. You've got to talk to the fighters' management and see, let the fighters know what's going on. So for them to think that they're going to be fighting Lerone Murphy means like there was some discussion of Lerone Murphy is going to be next. So they're like okay, in the back of our minds we're getting ready for Lerone Murphy, and then they just switch it on us. It's like no. Diego Lopez is getting another shot, which is fine. I don't completely hate it. I would rather have seen Lerone Murphy, but Diego Lopez is good. Be an interesting fight. Probably not the matchup we wanted to see. Probably not the matchup that should have happened, but still not a terrible matchup. It'll be an entertaining fight at the very least. Arman Sarukian's devastated. He's offering to go and help Justin Gaethje prepare to fight Paddy the Baddy. Not a silly decision from Arman. Gaethje's not going to win the fight, but Arman probably wants Gaethje to win. If Arman has to choose between fighting Paddy and Gaethje, he should be picking Gaethje. Gaethje's an easier fight nowadays than Paddy the Baddy is, in my opinion. Go in the comments and tell me why I'm wrong. In my opinion, Paddy the Baddy's a tougher fight than Justin Gaethje right now. Like I said, if we're talking Gaethje a few years ago, I think he has Paddy's number. I think Gaethje of a few years ago is a tougher fight for Arman than Paddy is. But right now, Paddy is the tougher fight. Younger guy, less accumulative damage. There we go. I said the word correctly. So yeah, of course, Arman wants to help Gaethje win because that's an easy fight for Arman in the future. But we'll have to wait and see. Arman's devastated. But you know what? It's his own unprofessionalism that's brought him here. He had Dana White privilege. He had the nepotism. He's got the money. He's had everything handed to him his whole life. And now it's not going his way, and he's having a little tantrum about it. It's nice to see. It's nice to see the Nepo baby get knocked down a peg. It's good to see. It's nice to see. He's putting videos up of him eating a lamb's head, a goat's head. And just depression. Made up I am. Made up. The thing is, he needs to stop stressing the depression eating. Otherwise, he's never going to make weight. And if he can't get his weight under control, he's never going to get to a title. Like, missing weight in your title fight, ridiculous. Ridiculous. Missing weight against Dan Hooker, ridiculous. I know it's not gone down as a missing weight. I know. But we all seen the fuckery with the scale. We all seen the bias fuckery with that scale. We all saw it. We're not stupid. The UFC definitely saw it. That's just how it be. That's just how it be. When you go to the Middle East, things get a little bit fishy, Things start going missing, things get misplaced. It all works out for them. It's very strange. Very strange. Not throwing any accusations anyway, but when you've got the money, I'm sure it's very easy to have your guy allowed a few pounds either side, right? Anyway, final thing we need to talk about. Islam Makhachev is openly criticising the UFC, and I reckon maybe it's got something to do with them passing over Arman. I know these guys are close. The Muslim Brotherhood is strong. um, yeah, the Muslim Brotherhood is strong. They'll back each other. That's what they do. Um, but yeah, I could Islam Makhachev is kicking off now. He's saying, oh, Dana White's lost interest in the UFC. He's not interested in matchmaking or promoting fighters anymore. The UFC used to be able to promote anybody and make them a star. Pardon me. The UFC could promote anybody and make them a star, and now they're only interested in promoting the easy stars. They don't want to make stars anymore. They don't want to do promotion. Dana White's lost interest in the company. He's got too many things going on. You know, biting the hand that feeds him. He's not wrong. I'm not saying he's wrong, but he is biting the hand that feeds him. Which is interesting because, as soon as it's not going Dagestan's way now that we're complaining about the UFC, let's not forget all these weight allowances you guys get, okay? Let's not forget all the fuckery with the scale, okay? I'm all for it, Islam. I'm all for, yeah, let's call him out. Dana's not interested in the sport anymore. He's looking for his own replacements. He's got Hunter Campbell there, ready to replace him at the drop of a hat. He doesn't care about matchmaking. He doesn't care about advertising and marketing. Doesn't give a fuck about it anymore. I agree with you, Islam. Let's also make sure that certain areas of the world don't let you cheat on the scale, let you miss weight. Just tap the. Oh yeah, that was mate weight. It hasn't settled and stopped like it should do, but yeah, we're using the old scale that we can fuck about with, still. But yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, and when it's not going your way, it's an issue. Islam. Not that I disagree with them. I do agree. I do agree. It's just interesting now that it's not going the way that he would like it to, the way that benefits his people. Now it's an issue. I agree with him. I think everyone knows Dana White's lost interest. Everyone knows Dana White doesn't give a fuck about the UFC anymore. It's common fucking knowledge. We've been talking about it for a good year and a half now, maybe even 2 years. How Dana White doesn't give a shit anymore. We used to get promos. We used to get press conferences. Dana White don't care no more. Dana White's running around trying to start fucking Zuffa boxing. Dana White's running around slap fighting. Watching people give each other fucking brain damage in the most boring sport that ever existed. The most boring sport that ever existed. I'm going to watch two guys stand there and slap each other. What? What? That's not a sport. That's just marketing brain damage. But then again, that's what he's doing anyway. I mean, look at the fucking. You know what? Prime example that he doesn't care. Look at the gloves. The glove issue. The UFC has shit gloves. Admittedly, Dana White admits the gloves are shite. Fighters admit the gloves are shite. We get new gloves that prevent eye pokes and that are supposedly safer for the hands. Supposedly safer. We see less knockouts. Bearing in mind, we only had them for like 3 months. John Jones says he doesn't like them. We scrap them. We go back to the old gloves that everybody agreed were fucking terrible. While there are gloves out there that exist that negate the problems the UFC gloves have, Dana White and the UFC just don't want to spend the money on them. I mean, come on. If you ever needed proof that Dana White doesn't care about the sport anymore, there's your fucking proof. The gloves that will fix the eye poke problem, will fix the handbrake problem, will fix the brain damage problem. The gloves that will do all of that are out there and they exist. How many times have we talked? How many times have you seen Joe Rogan? Trevor Whitman's got the gloves. Trevor Whitman's gloves are great. I think they should buy the gloves from Trevor Whitman. The gloves out there, they exist, supposedly. I've never tried them. The gloves supposedly exist that compress the hands and stop the fingers from being splayed out. The gloves exist with the correct padding so the hands don't get broken. The gloves exist with the padding so that we have less force transferred into specific brain damage, specifically into minute brain damage. We want to be knocking people out. We don't want to be getting repeated concussions, was the idea behind the gloves, the glove change. Dana White scraps it because John Jones doesn't like it, and who gives a fuck? Who knows how much they spent on R&D to make these gloves, because surely they worked, right? We saw less knockouts, so theoretically they were working. They were doing less damage, but obviously we want knockouts. Look at Slap Fight. Dana White wants to market. He wants to sell brain damage. He wants to market brain damage, second-hand brain damage to people. Anyway, that's my fucking rant. That's my rant. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Sean O'Malley's fighting Song Yadong. That's kind of interesting. I'd watch that, you know. Why are they feeding them Song Yadong? I don't know. That makes no sense. I don't. Song doesn't stand a chance against O'Malley. Why are we feeding? I mean, obviously because O'Malley's fucking poster boy and he's UFC's company man, UFC favorite, Dana White's boy, Dana White privilege. So we give him Song Yadong, a guy who gets hit for a living, against a cerebral striker like Sean O'Malley. Ridiculous. But yeah, so in short, fuck Arman Sarukian. Paddy the Baddy is about to become interim lightweight champion. Lightweight champion of the world. Paddy the Baddy is about to become lightweight champion of the world. Only like 8 fights, I think, into his UFC career. Excellent. I'll take it. That's a win for the city. I'll take that. Justin Gaethje's about to fucking be retired by Paddy the Baddy when he gets dismantled, which he will. I am so confident that Gaethje now, struggling against Fiziev, getting knocked out by Holloway after getting beaten down by Holloway. I know Paddy doesn't strike like Holloway, but that damage, Paddy hits hard. Paddy hits deceptively hard. And that accumulative damage throughout Gaethje's career, being topped off by getting beaten down for 5 rounds by Max Holloway, losing 4 rounds, 5 rounds to Max Holloway, getting beaten down bad, getting beaten up, broke his nose in the first round, if you remember, popped his nose in the first round, all the way to the last 10 seconds to getting slept with like a second on the clock. Like, that's damage, that's bad damage, that's damage you don't want to take towards the end of your career. You want to avoid that damage at all costs, but that's not damage you want to take towards the end of your career. That's the damage you want to take midway through, maybe like the later mid, and then you want to be looking to like, okay, we need to stay really safe now because that was a lot of damage. You don't want to be going against young up and coming Paddy the Baddy, fresh prospect Paddy the Baddy on a tear right now, while you have looked arguably worse against opponents you did better against in the past. I don't know. It just seems silly. But to sum it up, fuck Arman. Paddy's going to be champion. Fuck Gaethje. And Islam Makhachev, I agree with you to a point. Dana White, I mean, everyone knows Dana White's lost interest in the sport. But come on now. You could have been calling that out a while ago when you were missing weight on the scale. You could have been complaining then, but you weren't because it went in your favour. If you enjoyed this video, enjoyed this rant, subscribe for more. Leave me a like. Until next time, keep your chin down, keep swinging. Peace and love. I'll see you around.